Good morning, beautiful friends everywhere, all over the world. How are you today? Are you well? I do hope so. It's the summer solstice, yay! It's definitely one of my favourite days of the year. Normally, to me, the summer solstice means the garden is pretty much done and it's just time to start relaxing a bit. It's, we're in the thick of it with the grass court tennis season. Oh, love it, love it, love it. By now we should have sunshine. Yeah, so it's a really favourite special day for me each year. But I have to say, this year, sorry, excuse me, frog in my throat. I still feel really behind. Now, over the last couple of weeks or so, I had quite a big sort of catch-up push in the first week of June to get tomatoes, squash, cukes, peppers, all that sort of thing in. And then finally last week, the flint corn, celery, etc., as you will have seen. But in the last 2 weeks or so, I've been really, really busy with stuff away from the garden. We've had quite a lot of rain days, although having said that, compared with the rest of the country, nowhere near as much rain, and not enough to, flood the garden, thank goodness. And today it's looking bone dry again already, although I haven't put my fingers into the soil yet. But yeah, it's been pretty wet. I've been busy with other stuff, and I feel almost like I've lost a couple of weeks in the garden. So I've come down this morning. The first thing I've done is check for slug damage because, like I say, we have been having a lot of wet days, and I've lost a couple of squash, I've lost about 4 cukes, I've lost a whole load more beans. But never mind, and amazingly the celery all looks intact, which is really quite amazing. And having had my little sort of walk around, just check how things are doing, and thinking about all the things I'd like to get done today, I suddenly, for this time of year, it's crazy, but I suddenly feel a bit daunted by how much needs doing. There's a ton of planting still to do. And obviously with this rain, there's all the grass cutting and the edge trimming to do, there's some weeding to do. Things like the grass cutting, the edge trimming and the weeding, they are not a priority at the moment. They're just not a priority. So when we're out there today, you'll have to just please excuse my tatty looking grass paths. Yes, it does wind me up. But like I say, it's simply not a priority. All of that stuff on the deck needs to be planted. I was looking today, those herbs I pricked out a few weeks ago, I think the stress of just being in those cells, being hot, being dry, whatever, some of them have bolted, so I've missed the boat with some of my herbs. I might just plant them anyway. But yeah, it's ridiculous that, oh, good morning little Poppy. Hello sweet pea. It is ridiculous that for this time, a little tail, for this time of year, that I suddenly feel a bit daunted by how much work needs doing, because like I say, normally this time of year it should be the time when I go, sit back on the deck. So listen, the plan is, it's the 21st of June today, so we've got 9 days left of June, then in about a fortnight's time, we'll be having Wimbledon, it'll be my birthday, so my plan is in the next few days to just hammer it with the garden so that by the beginning of July I can get my deck chair out there, get my little radio down here and just lay in the sun listening to the tennis with my day off. Do you remember at the end of last month I was saying I've not had a day off this year, so I was planning a day off for my birthday. I'm determined to have it. So yeah, loads to do. But another really important quick little thing to say, I'm coming to you through my new camera. Yay! So very, very briefly, for anyone who doesn't follow my Facebook page, about a week ago, I lost my camera. No idea where. I lost it in the allotment. It was in my pocket. I went for about a 3-minute walk down the main path over to another friend's plot, and in that space it disappeared completely. I have a feeling once we get into winter and all the vegetation dies back, I have a feeling I'm going to see it lying there on the end of someone's plot. But anyway, yes, it disappeared without trace. I was gutted because that morning I'd filmed some lovely bits from our work party, and initially I was more gutted about losing the footage than my camera. But then of course I was really upset because firstly, I don't lose stuff. That doesn't happen to me. I'm really careful with things because, you know, frankly, I haven't got the money to replace things like that. So yeah, and I think part of why I felt miserable about it was because I thought I'm going to miss just chatting to you guys as I garden, because I really enjoy that. I mean, there's often days when I'm down here gardening and I don't bring you along, but on the days when I bring you along, I really enjoy it. Long story short, a whole number of you sent money to me, which is so amazing. I didn't know that was going to happen, so in the meantime I organised to do a bit of paid work, which I don't normally have time for because I'm busy doing my own stuff, and that's also another reason to not be in the garden this week. I was busy doing work for other people, but I just thought, you know what, I want to make some money quickly so I can get a new camera. So a combination of that and some birthday money and your really lovely donations means that I was able to, within the week, replace my camera. Yay! And also I want to say, you know, a couple of people apologised saying, I'm sorry it's such a small amount. Oh my goodness. It wasn't about the amount, it's about the fact that you just reached out in that way to me. It was really massively appreciated. Poppy, you appreciated it too, didn't you? So yes, a massive from the bottom of my heart, and a purr from Poppy, thank you. People are wonderful. You are wonderful. Thank you. So I think it's time to go and do some work, isn't it, Poppy Poo? Yeah. It's going to be a busy day. Let's clear that deck and get it all planted. Come on. Well, hurrah, and high time to get the beautiful Coco de Paimpol in the ground. My goodness, yes, I do feel so late with things this year. I did check back to see when I planted them last year, and it was the 17th of June. And I got a lovely harvest, so we just have to hope. Now, part of the delay, of course, is I do my cocoa as a follow-on crop from the broad beans. So this was the broad bean bed. You saw I had a lovely harvest from it. You can't see from there, but just a bit further up the bed is my little stand of plants I've left for seed saving. So yes, the planting of the Coco de Paimpol does depend to a great degree on when I harvest the broad beans. Fortunately, I got the broad beans out before the rain, which helped to soften the soil, which helped me prepare this bed for the cocoa. And simply all I did was scratch some chicken poo in before the rain. The rain's calm, that's all now dispersed in the soil nicely. It gave me a chance to get the soil a bit finer, to give these little plants a chance to get their roots out. You could, of course, start your plants directly. If you're going to sow them direct, I would say the beginning to sort of mid-May, when you're planting all your other beans, basically. So I started mine in pots, initially in the cold frame. Oh, it was about yeah, it was about the middle of April, in fact. Ooh, suddenly it's clouding over and getting windy. We're not due to have rain today. Fingers crossed. So you can see, oh, look at all the snails in there. You wouldn't believe the amount of times I'd pick snails out of these trays. So you can see it's a little bit yellow. That just tells me it's desperate to get in the ground and find some nutrients in the ground. So I initially sowed about 60 seeds in the hopes to get 50 plants. The germination rates was really worrying initially. I had 12 come up, 2 of which were immediately mashed by slugs or snails. The rest were just not showing, so I sowed another 20 seeds, so in total 80. And I think from that I have just about got 50 plants. Some of them are looking a bit sorry for themselves where they've had nibbles. Excuse me. There are 3 which have just literally germinated in the last week. So probably what I'll do is I'll try and select the best that I've got to put into the bed, and any that are looking a bit nibbled, have only just germinated, I'll just pop them back on the deck, see if they come to something. If I don't lose any of these, if the ones on the deck then come to something, I'll put them in the row behind the peas where I've got my sort of experimental bush beans, a lot of which didn't germinate. I had Zippo from their Calypso. Okay, so in terms of spacing, I'm going to give them roughly sort of 25 to 30 centimetres between each one. Again, you know, as with everything in the garden, I'm super stingy with space, but I'm too greedy for my food. Actually, look, there's really, I don't know if you can get a sense of that on the camera, can you? There's some really good moisture down here. I will, though, give them, oh, look how desperate that is to go in. I will, though, give them a good soaking in, just because where these pots have been sat on the deck, I don't think we got any rain yesterday, so they're a bit dry. I've given them a watering this morning, but they're still a bit dry. And yes, desperate to go in. Thinking about it, you know, for next year, because we're always thinking about next year, aren't we? Seeing how, well, it's really hard, isn't it? I was going to say maybe I should start my cold frame sowing in May, beginning of May, instead of the middle of April. Having said that, though, those ones that I did start later, I mean, like I said, I've just got some germinating now. So it's a toss-up, isn't it? Do we have them like these, obviously pot-bound, obviously desperate to go in, because I started them mid-April? Or do I wait, start them in May, and then end up with germination now that are so small, there's no root to them, there's no point in trying to transplant. Actually, what I might do, we will do this as a together thing, with one of those really, really little tiddly ones that's only just come up. I will put it in behind the peas so that we can have a look together when I tip it out to see what root, if any, it's got going on. Oh my goodness. Now, I know I chat on about the Coco de Paimpol. It isn't easy to find seed for. I have this year, though. I was really, really happy that I had, this is still bits of raspberry, I think. Yeah, I was delighted that I had quite a lot of spare seeds, so I've sent seed all over the world. If you can get it, get it and try them. I think I was mentioning this when I was sowing beans back in May. Literally, if I could only grow 2 types of beans, I would grow gigantes and Coco de Paimpol. I grow the gigantes because they're just such a fantastic, big, meaty bean. You know what I mean. Meaty. Sounds like the wrong description, doesn't it? But if I could only grow 1 bean, it would definitely be the Coco de Paimpol. They are beautiful in salads, in soups. Just a little bowl of them on their own with a drizzle of oil. Oh my goodness. One of the reasons I like them so much is because they retain their bite after cooking. So many of these kind of buttery beans they sort of dissolve to mush when you cook them. These guys, they retain a bit of their bite, but they're so creamy. They're just, do you know, I'm actually almost salivating talking about them. So if you ever get a chance, if you ever see the seeds, grab them. I started with, I can't remember whether it was 7 or 10 seeds a few years ago, I think 3 years ago. And it was 10 because I had 10 plants, and of the 10 plants I used 8 of them for harvesting for eating, and the other 2 plants I used entirely for seed saving. And that was enough seed for me the following year to have about 50 plants. If I had a second allotment, I would have a whole field of these plants, believe me. Oh my goodness. So yeah, it just shows you only need a little handful of seeds to start with. So for those of you that I've sent seed to, in some cases I was getting really low on the seed stock. So some of you literally got about 10-15 seeds from me. Don't worry, that's enough to get your own little harvest and to get your own little seed supply going. Fabulous. I tell you how good this bean is. In the region that they come from, they're actually an appellation contrôlée thing. You know, they get like in the UK we have cheddar cheese, can only be cheese that's produced in cheddar. Champagne comes from the Champagne region. Coco de Paimpol is the same. And this bean is so revered, so adored, so treasured, that in the couple of weeks of harvest, which is usually about the beginning of September, they have all sorts of festivals in the region just for this bean. Amazing. And if you were to go to a restaurant in Paris at harvest time, you could probably get yourself a nice little bowl of Coco de Paimpol for, about £15. Yes, look out for the seeds. Right, I'm going to carry on getting this lot in. Oh, that snail! I'm going to squish you in a minute and give you to the birds. I'll get this lot in, give them a good soaking, and then, if you remember when I took the broad beans out, I scraped off that leaf litter, which I've left over by the compost bins, left it in a bag open to the elements that hopefully would get a good soaking from the rain, and I'll bring that back over here and start to use it as a mulch. There won't be enough to mulch the whole bed, but it will be a start anyway. Right, happy planting. So much planting to do today, I better shut up and get on with it. And then lots more pots to wash. Oh, snail. This Go for the birds. Woohoo! Instant garden. Right. Might get one there. Well, they've all had a good soak, so let's get this mulch on. It's by no means going to do the whole bed, but it will be better than nothing, and it's a start. Oh, I should get some rocks in there from somewhere, I don't know where. I think actually because my grass paths, the grass has got quite so long and on the edges, that when I do have a trim and a tidy up, I'll do what I often do, which is I'll just go around the edges and scoop that material up and get it onto the beds. Like I always say, you know, it's like the advert, isn't it? Every little helps. Do whatever I can, wherever I can, to help this soil and to help myself. Wow, this really isn't going to go very far at all, but it's a start, isn't it? Because that's the thing with mulch, you really actually want to get really quite a thick layer, a couple of inches preferably, or else, well, it's not really going to do much. Oh, this is it. Last couple of handfuls. And then, oh, let's just tip this now. There we go. Yep, it's a start. A lump of plastic, goodness knows. Right, what I also want to do is show you here my stragglers. Oh, so you can see these three. I mean, they're just now germinating. These have all had quite a lot of nibbles from the slime bags, but let me show you really close. Can you see right in there in the middle? There is sign of life and sign of growth. So I was gonna, like I mentioned, I was gonna set them aside on the deck, but I think, to be honest, the way things are going, I'm just going to get them in today. I'm going to get them in behind the peas, because I really do want to get to a stage where things are done, and I can forget about them for a minute. Yeah, come on, let's get these in behind the peas. You can see here how random the dwarf beans were. So at the top end, right up there, I've got a few. That's the Canterbury Black, dwarf Canterbury Black. Another little patch here. This is the ones that were simply called drying beans, but I think they're like a type of borlotti. But here, big gap. Here, big gap. That was the Calypso, and this was the cowpea. Nada, nada, nada. So, let's plug these gaps with these little teeny tiny, pretty, flimsy, Coco de Paimpol. But like I say, you know, even though they've had a nibble, I can see bits, a couple of signs of life. So, might as well stick them in. Actually, how much space do I have? Because let's put in the ones that have a bit more life showing. What's the best spacing? Avoiding t'others. Yeah, we'll have it like that. You can come along a bit. You can come along a bit. You can go there. And then let me show you, as I said I would. Let me get a hole ready, because I've got a feeling this is going to fall apart somewhat. Oh, flies are out today. I mean, it's amazing the difference in sizes, isn't it? Exactly the same time. So, I would not ever normally plant out a little seedling at this stage. I mean, it's only just got its leaves, its true leaves, but here goes nothing. Oh, I can see a little bit of root sticking out. So you can see it has got some roots there, but it's not like we would normally expect a ton of roots which are actually holding all the soil together. Who knows? Let's give it a go anyway, because put it this way, I want my deck back. And ultimately they have to go in the ground anyway, don't they? I mean, they're not going to come to much in their pots. Just while I'm here, also I've noticed that the peas are looking a bit yellow, which suggests to me that they would like a feed. So I will go to the shed and well, firstly drink a load of water and then go to the shed, make some urine, dilute it and water my peas with it. Also, now I'm down here, at least at the other end, I really need to do a big pick of peas. Oh my goodness, the other day when I had that first one, it was so good. But yeah, there's absolutely tons to pick from the ones that I started in pots. In fact, they probably all need picking, which is fine by me. So yeah, let me get this lot in and then I'm going to have a gallon of water. Well, that's good. That's cleared all the space that was along the back there. So now, next job is all of these, I can't remember what each of them are until I pick them up and look at them, but these are all my backup beans. I know that these and these are gigantes. So that's the next job. Fill up my wheelbarrow with these, take them along to the bean archers and get these little beauties in. But look at this. This is my run of beans. Not a single one. Not a single one. So there's none there. There's none where I direct sowed. I mean, that's crazy. Who the heck can't grow a run of bean? It's like the easiest, babyest thing to do in the garden, isn't it? It's what we give our sort of 4 or 5-year-olds to try when they're trying their first bit of gardening. But yeah, apparently I can't grow runner beans this year. Not to worry, I've got lots of other lovely things to go in. Look, I love how, oh look, they found each other. They're clinging on for dear life. Don't worry, little ones, you're going to get a pole all of your own in a minute. Just before I go and deliver the first barrow load of climbing beans to their positions, I thought I'd give you a quick show of the herb bed, because even though the sun's gone in, oh, it's looking so lovely. Look how the English lavender has exploded. Oh, I'm going to have masses to harvest this year. It's wonderful. And there are the lovely little chamomiles coming out. I'll probably harvest those in the next couple of days. There'll be more to come. And the French lavender, such a beautiful deep purple. I mean, it's so very, very different to the English lavender. The English lavender over there, all big and blousy and showy and loud. And then the beautiful, oh so chic French lavender, compact but absolutely gorgeous. And this is what I mean about getting a little bit of orange in the bed. I love the orange and purple together. Just tucked down there, that was the new chamomile this year, and tucked just there beyond the thyme, that's the bergamot. Not really doing anything yet, but give them a chance. And then the rest of the bed, oh my goodness, it's gone bonkers. Yay! So this is what I mean about suddenly I feel like there's all sorts of jobs to do. You can see the feverfew here, all over. I think it's had a bit of a hammering from wind and rain, but I need to get in there and stake it up, because it is flopping absolutely everywhere. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous mini mini little clouds of white flowers. Oh, so beautiful. But you can see it's impinging on the sweet peas. Oh, another little pop of calendula. These were all the calendula I basically chucked on the soil and scratched in a bit. The sweet tansy down there, yeah, it's another reason for getting this this feverfew tied up. How's the lovage doing over there? We can't even see it from here, but it's still there. But yeah, the feverfew is being gorgeous. The yellow, that yellow flower, that's the St. John's wort. I didn't intend to let it flower, but I think a combination of, we had so much heat early on and lack of rain. I think a lot of these herbs are telling me they got a bit stressed, so they're going for it now. So I think, yeah, once all my planting is done, I'll get in here, I'll put some stakes in, do a bit of trimming, do a bit of harvesting. But yes, what a happy little spot. Oh, and I need to top up the drink station, because despite all the rain, the sun we're now having is making all evaporate. And then just to say over here, oh dear, yes, I'm really tardy with these. This is another job for today, but it'll be this afternoon. I'm going to put it into a separate video, because otherwise we'll be here forever. Right. It is definitely time to go and do some planting. I'm not going to show the planting of all these because, you know, it's same principle as everything else I've done this morning in terms of planting the cocoa. Dig a hole, put them in, boom. But once they're done, I'll give you a little show of all the bean arches over there, so we can see how they're getting on this beautiful midsummer day. So, excuse my tatty paths, but woohoo, each bean pole now has at least one bean plant with it. You can tell where I've had to water, where I've had to plug gaps. I've never plugged so many gaps as I've plugged this year. So this is a whole row of Coco Sophie, this is a whole row of Gigantes, and then coming to the other set of arches, the second lot there, that's actually more Coco Sophie, because I had a few asparagus beans come up, but they were all mashed by the slugs and snails, and I resowed but nothing came. This end there's a few, they're the rattles, and then this side now, this is actually all Trail of Tears all the way to the top, because I had no runners whatsoever. Good old Helder and some Bolotti. But yeah, it's what an odd year already. Just going to bring you back to let you see how the Gigantes are doing. This is one of the direct sown ones, and it's up to there already, and the others were in pots. That was a pot one, these were direct sown. But yeah, it's, you know, hardly any of the direct sowings have made it. They've either not come up at all, or they've come up and just been, like I say, mashed by the pesky slugs and snails really quickly. Anyway, good thing is that's all the beans in. Ah yes, that's the rock and core, a few gaps there, and the chickpeas, a few gaps. This is going to be my next job. But finally, that's all the cocoa's in now. Hardly any mulch, but one thing I will do, where I've got pots where things didn't germinate, I'll just tip out the contents on the tops of these beds now to act as a mulch. Oh my goodness, right. I'm just going to swing you all around to me for a second. You're coming round. Oh, little blue butterfly in the lentils. So bright. Oh my goodness. Oh, what a beautiful morning it's been. I say morning, we're already well into the afternoon. as usual, all my jobs have taken me much longer than I thought they would, but I'm happy at least that that's now, the beans are done. I am done with beans. So I've got lots more to do. I think I probably will stay and crack on with things. I'm not sure at the moment. I'm going to go and have a sit down, have a bite to eat, because I feel a bit headachy today. So if a bite to eat revives me, then I'll carry on, but I'll put it all in another video because this one's long enough as it is. So it's time for me to say cheerio to you all. I certainly hope your gardens are all sown, planted, whatever now. I hope you aren't as late as me with things, but you know what? Better late than never, eh? Things will catch up. We'll be grand. So, on this beautiful summer solstice day, I bid you a very fond, happy farewell, and I will see you all again really soon.